Peace and love, family. It's your boy Jason, coming to you from Lincoln, Nebraska. I'm originally from East St. Louis, Illinois, Centerville, Golden Garden, what it do. First off, to my boy Elamine, sorry this took so long, man. I got these cheap electronics. I don't have the iPhones and all of that stuff, so it's all good though. But what I want to talk about real quick is population control. And this is a subject that we talk about the subject, but not specifically as for what it is, population control. It's not necessarily, I don't think, a complete extermination because they can't live without us. So, but it's population control. And being that this subject would take forever, this would take forever to completely, and genuinely come to some kind of conclusion on what to do about the different techniques they use to maintain this. But, so this is just basically just an outline of several videos I'm probably going to do. So be looking out for me. Anyway, first off, population control contains several different, devices. And I'm only going to mention two right now. First off, there's disease. That's I'm not going to say specific diseases, but you could say AIDS and Ebola and things like that, but it's much more than that. But the people who really control, and I would even say create these diseases, are your World Health Organizations, your CDC, Center for Disease Controls, and all of these things, along with several different governments around the world. But anyway, first off, when it comes to the disease aspect, as I just said, it's my belief and many other people's belief that, these diseases and things are, they're not just out of nature. These things had to be manufactured some kind of way. And we like to shrug that off sometime because that's a subject, nobody really wants to believe that people in this world are just that evil to create diseases and try to kill people off. But we do believe that there are people who enslaved people and killed millions of them and killed millions of people to take their lands or whatever. So we kind of got a messed up way of thinking when it comes to that. But anyway, the disease aspect is probably, I think, one of the biggest aspects of the population control agenda. Before I go too far, let me say, first off, Brother Elamine, sorry about the quality of this video. Like I said, I got these cheap electronics, and this tablet here, it's pretty old, so don't trip. But it's not me you trying to see anyway, it's the message, so that's what's up. But when it comes to population control and the disease aspect, there are people in this world evil enough to do these things. I mean, we should know that by now. That's pretty obvious. I mean, even just the hate we've seen, during this whole Trump thing, and since he's taken office, all the hate crimes we've seen occur across the country, and not only in this country, all over the world, really, especially in Europe and in Britain and places like that. But yeah, we have to be able to believe that there are people that evil. So let's put that out of our minds first. But I'll get deeper into that as in some of my following videos or whatever. But anyway, you have your AIDS, you have your Ebola, you have the big ones, the ones that basically you get and you ain't coming back for. You have those, but you also have diseases like diabetes and all of these things. But just to set it up for later, understand that these things didn't just come into existence by chance. Nature itself didn't just create these diseases. So let's get that out of our heads right now. Okay, the disease aspect. The disease aspect of it is, that's that. Like I said, I think that's one of the biggest things that the elites of the world depend on to keep, to maintain population control. And the reason they need population control is actually pretty simple. It's, they face genetic annihilation right now. I don't think most people understand, what that's all about or whatever. And, but genetically, I'm just saying straight out, genetically, white people are in trouble. Especially here in the United States. Around 1970, I believe it was found that, well, let me not, I'm going too far now. Anyway, I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, as far as the diseases, if you notice, every time one of these big diseases, every time we get word of one of these big diseases, it's always, for some reason, we know the reason now, but they always say, well, yeah, we found it in Africa. That's the first cases of it were saw in Africa. And not to go too far into it, because like I said, I'll explain all of this later, but we know why they find them in Africa, because that's where they make them at, or that's where they test them at. So, because that's where it's easier for them to do, and those people over there are the people they, feel are marginal. So, but anyway, that's one of the main aspects of it. Genetic annihilation. White people are facing the threat of genetic annihilation. And they have to maintain a population where they are the majority. It's not necessarily about killing us all off. It's about making sure that we're dying at a faster rate than they are, and they're having babies at a faster rate than we are. So that's got a lot to do with it. So, but we'll get deeper into that. I want people to understand that there is a thing called social engineering. Social engineering is defined as the use of centralized planning in an attempt to manage social change and regulate the future development and behavior of a society. Now, I don't think that's too hard to understand. I'm trying to see how I can elaborate on that a little more. Basically, it's like, almost like, I hate to use that analogy, but I will. I hate to use the analogy of like raising a child. You know what I mean? As my Christian brothers say, that if you raise up a child in the way it should go, it'll never depart. Well, that's kind of what social engineering is. Social engineering is where you put things in place, such as laws and, ordinances or whatever, to direct the behavior and development of not only the whole society, but even certain segments of the society. You get them to think or do what you need them to think or do, or think and do. So that's, social engineering is a big part of this. We're going to get into that. Another thing, vaccines. These vaccines, we're definitely going to talk more about that. I got to do more work, more research on that before I actually get into that. But the vaccine thing and with the autism and all of these things, yeah, we're gonna have to look at that. The cancer industry. The cancer industry is big bucks for these people, man. I'm telling you. And just to give you a brief overview of why I say cancer, which, everybody gets cancer. You don't have to be black to get cancer or whatever, but blacks seem to get the most aggressive forms of cancer, and we need to know why that is. So, it's a lot of information to cover, but I probably lost, didn't give you what all I have for you, but trust me, I've got a lot more to come on this, and I'm sure my brother Elamine, I know you familiar with a lot of this stuff, and man, I'm so honored that you even asked me to do this, man. I appreciate that, bro. I know your intelligence. I know, I know your background. You're amazing, brother. Hey, we got to get this work out, man. Hey, be looking for me, man. I'm gonna be there. Like I said, I'm gonna get some better. I'm gonna get some better, technology going on, so I can have so I can send you some better quality stuff. But anyway, it's all love, family. We have to stop brushing things off. I mean, I know, like me, they call me a conspiracy theorist. I don't mind the term. If you think they're just theories, I mean, it's all good. I don't care, but we have to stop just believing what we're being told. That's the main thing. Stop believing, and that's in every aspect of life. Stop believing what we're being told. I'm gonna see you all real soon. I'm gonna elaborate a lot more on population control and all of these things. We're gonna get deep into this, brother. I'll be seeing y'all real soon. Peace and love, family. One love for everybody. Peace.